Natsuru-sen awakens one morning to find that he has transformed into a woman, to which a stuffed animal tiger introduces itself as a messenger and informs him that he has become a Kampfer, who must battle other Kampfer. Because Kampfer must be female, Natsuru transforms into a female version of himself. The following morning, he is assaulted by Akane Mishima, a Kampfer with a sidearm. Before rescuing Akane from a falling lamppost, Natsuru defends his buddy Kaede Sakura from Akane's assault. The next day, Natsuru is approached by a bashful girl who exposes herself to be Akane, who in Kampfer form has an entirely different look and behavior. Akane shares all she knows about the Kampfer with Natsuru, including assisting him when he changes. They seem to be friends since their wristbands are the same color, blue, and hence are known as the Blue Kampfer, whereas their opponents are the Red Kampfer, who wear red bracelets. Kaede informs Natsuru at the end of the day that she has fallen for his Kampfer form. When he goes to Akane for guidance the following day, they are ambushed in the school library by another concealed Kampfer. Akane suspects Kaede is the enemy and fires her pistol at her as she emerges out of nowhere among the ruins. Natsuru stops Akane from shooting Kaede and the attacker escapes when the bell for class rings. Natsuru finds that his adversary attends his school as well, and he becomes suspicious of the threat and apprehensive of the other females in his vicinity. Shizuku Song, the student council president, interrogates him and Akane about what transpired in the library. Natsuru vows to introduce Kaede to his Kampfer form the following day, and Akane and their messengers recommend that they make Kaede despise Natsuru's Kampfer form, but she instead asks him out. Shizuku is revealed to be the enemy Kampfer by Natsuru. Natsuru and Akane have a hard time battling her, but they ultimately defeat her. Shizuku agrees to let Natsuru live as long as she leaves Kaede alone. Shizuku enrolls Kampfer Natsuru on the girls' side of the school after hearing stories about his being seen. Natsuru starts his first day at school in the girls' section, where he's assigned to Akane's class and quickly becomes popular with the girls. Natsuru is unable to respond since his bracelet is flashing, so Kaede declares her love to him. The newspaper club interviews him and publishes a shady piece on him. Kaede debunks most of the claims and all is okay until Shizuku spreads a story that the female Natsuru is dating the male Natsuru. Natsuru flees to the library and reverts to his masculine form, only to be reprimanded and tripped over by Akane. When Kaede notices the compromising situation, she declares war on him and swears to compete for Kampfer Natsuru's affections. Natsuru is surprised to learn that Shizuku has entered him in the Miss Sayatsu beauty contest as the cultural festival approaches. Natsuru gives Shizuku a shoulder massage in order to be replaced, but after Akane bursts her firing gun, the deal falls apart and Natsuru is still forced to compete. Later, Kaede joins them in the karaoke bar, where she, Akane, and Shizuku battle for the opportunity to perform a duet with Natsuru. Kaede attempts to compel Natsuru to respond to her confession, but he is unable to do so owing to almost shifting back to male form. Akane scolds Kaede for attempting to confess behind her back, and the two of them, along with Shizuku, decide to join the beauty contest as well, much to Natsuru's disgust. The cultural festival is about to begin. Kaede stops the two of them in the locker area and gets into another confrontation with Akane. Male Natsuru subsequently meets up with Kaede and encourages her, despite the fact that she still sees him as a competitor. Natsuru does not have an act on the day of the beauty contest, but Kaede appears and does a sketch, tossing a bouquet into the crowd. Akane, in her Kampfer form, interrupts them and begins firing at them, nearly kissing them. Shizuku then comes and knocks everyone else out, resulting in Shizuku's victory by default. Natsuru awakens in his man form after the competition and Shizuku steals his first kiss. Kampfer Natsuru is obliged to engage in a quasi-maid cafe when she goes to school. Shizuku joins her later, warning her of the impending arrival of a new Kampfer. Shizuku questions Kaede quietly to discover if she knows anything about the Kampfer and the entrails animals that create them once she joins them. Natsuru denies Kaede's request for a kiss, opting instead for a date around the festival. Natsuru is assaulted by the new Red Kampfer, whom Natsuru identifies as Mikoto, as they enter a haunted mansion. Later, Akane intervenes and Shizuku intervenes, asking Natsuru and Akane to disclose their actual identities to her. Shizuku agrees to a ceasefire when everyone reaches the same level, as she wants to find something out. Kaede invites Natsuru to spend the night at her place after she apologizes for leaving her. Natsuru comes to Kaede's residence escorted by Akane and Shizuku, and finds a plethora of entrails animals. Kaede begins by playing a game in which two individuals bite through the ends of a pocky stick. Akane's efforts to escape being partnered up with Kaede and Natsuru result in her being placed with Shizuku. Akane teams up with Natsuru for the second round, but he breaks the stick before she can reach it. After failing to match with Natsuru, Kaede concludes the game and displays her entrails animals collection, which includes a prototype, burnt alive lion. Mikoto suddenly enters with curry, which Shizuku splatters all over Natsuru's face as an excuse for her to take a shower. Natsuru unexpectedly turns back to his masculine form as he attempts to sleep, just as Kaede creeps into his bed. Akane comes in her Kampfer form just before Kaede recognizes him, eager to express her affections to Natsuru. They are subsequently assaulted by Riku Ueda, a white Kampfer who flees when Shizuku intervenes. Shizuku later wonders whether she is envious of Natsuru. Male Natsuru accepts Shizuku's invitation to go on a date with her. While Shizuku is certain that it is a genuine date, Natsuru just goes along with it, mistaking it for a scheme to entice the white Kampfer. Shizuku queries Natsuru about why he loves Kaede after they go to an aquarium and have a picnic. She speaks about the Kampfer conflict, remembering a fallen comrade, without asking whether he perceives a link between Kaede and the moderators. Natsuru takes a little nap and has an interesting dream, only to awaken to Shizuku's knee, wondering whether she did anything while he was sleeping. Mikoto notices them at the conclusion of the date and isn't thrilled about Natsuru going on a date with Shizuku, which isn't helped by Shizuku's candid remarks. After hearing from Mikoto, Akane comes around to his home and asks him what kind of females, apart from Kaede, he would prefer. She changes when Natsuru casually mentions someone like Akane, and convinces him to swear an oath and go on a date with her. At the pool, Akane is having a beautiful summer date with male Natsuru. Mikoto, Shizuku, and Kaede, on the other hand, appear. Shizuku notices 3 white Kampfers walking by Kaede at the pool. Shizuku sends female Natsuru on a solo stroll, but she is assaulted and encircled by a gang of white Kampfer known as Sayaka Nakao, Raika Namakawa, and Hitomi Minagawa. Akane and Shizuku rescue Natsuru, but Shizuku tells him that Natsuru was used as bait to persuade the white Kampfer to identify themselves, and that they ended up fleeing rather than fighting them on an equal footing. Later at the hotel, male Natsuru and the females are having a good time. Akane and Mikoto are taken aback by Natsuru's date with Shizuku even kissing Natsuru in front of the others. After that, Kaede invites male Natsuru to accompany her outside the room. Natsuru, enthralled by Kaede's unexpected move, agrees without hesitation. Outside the room, Kaede caresses Natsuru into obeying her, and the two of them head outside to watch the fireworks. Outside the hotel, Natsuru finds himself seated next to Kaede, who hypnotizes him into making Shizuku his. When Natsuru, who has no recollection of leaving the room, they return to the hotel and are welcomed by Kaede. Kaede whispers something in Shizuku's ear the following day, confirming her suspicions. Shizuku brings Natsuru to her home to inform her about Kaede, and Kaede's burnt-to-death lion reveals the Kampfer method to her. Tomiko, a close friend of hers, was slain in a Kampfer conflict, and she has vowed revenge on whatever was guilty for the start of Kampfer warfare. When Natsuru confronts Kaede about it, he is once again mesmerized by Kaede. When the 3 of them wake up tied together, Kaede attempts to get Natsuru to finish them for her, but she notices a keychain he bought for Shizuku and snaps out of it, claiming that despite his feelings for Kaede, he would not betray his friends. This statement inspires Shizuku, Akane, and Mikoto to fight even harder, helping them to break free and destroy the white Kampfer with ease. Kaede attempts to entice Natsuru once again, but he changes back into his regular shape, removing himself from the battle, and out of Kaede's reach. With the battle over, Shizuku, Akane, and Mikoto return their attention to Natsuru. Natsuru discovers that he and his messenger, Disemboweled Tiger, have changed bodies on Christmas Eve morning. Disemboweled Tiger goes outdoors to enjoy the festivities and encounters Natsuru's pals, Mikoto, Shizuku, and Akane on the streets, only to discover that they've been body swapped with their respective messengers. The messengers enjoy their new bodies, until they're caught stealing food and are forced to perform in a performance. After that, Kaede runs into them and brings them to an amusement park. Kaede visits a church to confess her sin of engaging in indecent behaviors with numerous females at the same time, but she only receives punishment from the student council, who also happen to be working there. The messengers arrive to help her, but instead of saving her, they wind up battling each other after discovering, much to their joy, that they can feel pain. They fly away in a sleigh after saying their goodbyes to Kaede, the entire event being a weird Christmas fable. And that's the end of the video. As always, if you liked what you saw, subscribe to the channel. I'll be uploading a lot of videos just like this, so I'll see you in the next one.